Shalom from Jerusalem. This is Uriel, Independent News, Yerushalayim, Israel. We're standing here this morning at the Israel Great Synagogue. But the latest news coming out of Jerusalem, Israel, is that Egypt continues to have its turmoil with the Muslim Brotherhood. Mohammed Morsi has been overthrown when 22 million Egyptians signed a petition to oust Morsi out of power. Mohammed Morsi has been overthrown by the populace. 22 million Arabs, Egyptians, basically signed a petition in Egypt, and the Egyptian military basically has ousted Mohammed Morsi. Other news coming out of Jerusalem is that the Muslim Brotherhood yesterday attacked an Israeli patrol that basically were patrolling the Israel-Egypt border. And the Muslim Brotherhood basically came and fired mortars and anti-tank to basically kill and harm Israeli soldiers. Basically, tensions are high here in the Middle East, and we need to understand that the Muslim Brotherhood basically wants to gain back control, or to gain back power back in Egypt. In other news, we understand that in Syria, the civil war continues, where over 100,000 Arabs have been killed. But the latest news coming out of Jerusalem, Israel, is that Al-Qaeda has already set up base in Syria. As you know, many of these uprisers are basically terrorists who want to basically to infiltrate the entire nation of Syria. As you know, the Golan Heights might be in jeopardy because if these terrorists infiltrate the Golan Heights, Syria region, they can easily fire rockets into Israel. Also, John Kerry basically is trying to broker a peace deal between the so-called Palestinians. Mahmoud Abbas, the so-called Palestinian leader. As we know, Mahmoud Abbas continues to support terror against the nation of Israel. He continues to support all the terrorists that are behind prisons here in Israel. Other news coming out of Jerusalem is that Iran basically is developing another nuclear facility to continue to enrich uranium and plutonium now. As you know, Ahmadinejad is no longer the president of Iran, and the Grand Ayatollah Khamenei basically has flat out called for the total destruction of Israel. If these Iranian, the regime in Iran basically enriches uranium and now plutonium, and if they get their hands on a nuclear weapon, who knows what will happen. We need to understand that Israel is facing a real threat, not just by Iran, but now the Muslim Brotherhood. As you know, Gaza, the terrorists up in the Gaza Strip continue to fire rockets into the nation of Israel. And we need to tell you the real news that basically is coming out of Jerusalem, Israel. Now, the Israeli government, led by Yair Lapid, who's the Minister of Economy, or the Finance Minister, basically has pushed for a law for the ultra-Orthodox to basically join or go to the army. You may not know this, but many ultra-Orthodox Haredim, basically they don't want to work, they don't want to serve in the military, they basically want to just go and study day in and day out and basically get a check from the Israeli government for doing so. There have been attacks already on 3 religious soldiers by the ultra-Orthodox Haredi community. Yesterday, one soldier was attacked by the ultra-Orthodox Haredi community here in Jerusalem. So basically, tensions are high with Iran, now Syria, and the Muslim Brotherhood, who basically has 8 million followers within the most Muslim Brotherhood. So tensions are very high. We're asking for you to partner with us if you like to support the work that we're doing. We have done over 400 interviews, and we'll continue to inform you the latest from here in Jerusalem. Anyone can support our work. Basically, just log into PayPal and give to our email address, which is Judah, judah92@gmail.com. We bring you the latest news coming to you directly from Jerusalem, Israel. Tensions are high in Egypt, in Syria, in Lebanon with Nasrallah, and of course we cannot forget the Iranian regime now that they're building a new reactor in Iran. This is Uriel, Independent News, Jerusalem, Israel. Shalom.